long ago, in the heart of Africa, there was a kingdom called Zuberi, ruled by the wise king Adisa. The kingdom was known for its vibrant culture and rich traditions, but it was also home to a peculiar princess named Amara. Unlike her three younger sisters, Amara remained unmarried, for she possessed an unusual trait that set her apart from other princesses in the land. Amara was blessed with an extraordinary gift of storytelling, but she was cursed with an insatiable appetite for knowledge. Her hunger for wisdom was so great that it manifested physically, causing her to grow larger with each passing day. The villagers, in their ignorance, began to whisper and mock her behind her back. "Have you heard?" they would say in hushed tones. "Princess Amara devoured an entire library in a single night." Others would chime in, "I heard it takes 5 royal tailors to measure her for a new gown." King Adisa and Queen Zuri were deeply troubled by their daughter's predicament. They had tried countless times to arrange suitable marriages for her, but no suitor was brave enough to court a princess whose intellect seemed to outweigh her physical form. Amara, for her part, had long since given up on the idea of marriage. She believed that any man who agreed to marry her would do so only for her royal status, not for love. And Amara, with her heart full of stories and dreams, had always yearned to be truly loved for who she was. Despite the sadness that often clouded her days, Amara found solace in the art of storytelling. She was a master weaver of tales, her words painting vivid pictures that could transport listeners to far-off lands and ancient times. Often, during festivals and celebrations, Amara would seek out a quiet corner, close enough to hear the music, but hidden from prying eyes. There, she would close her eyes and let her stories flow, her voice barely above a whisper as she spun tales of adventure, love, and magic. One day, as the kingdom prepared for its annual harvest festival, a mysterious stranger arrived at the gates of Zoo. He was a tall, lean man, with skin as dark as midnight and eyes that sparkled like stars. He called himself Kwame, and he claimed to be a wandering griot from a distant land. The people of Zuberi were immediately captivated by Kwame's presence. His voice was melodious, his movements graceful, and his stories. His stories were unlike anything they had ever heard before. King Adisa, impressed by the stranger's talents, invited him to perform at the festival. As the celebration began, Amara took her usual place in the shadows, ready to lose herself in her own imagination. But as Kwame began to speak, she found herself drawn to his words like a moth to a flame. His tales were familiar, yet strange, echoing the very essence of her own stories, but with a twist that left her breathless. For the first time in years, Amara forgot about her size, her loneliness, and the judgmental stares of others. She stepped out of the shadows and moved closer to the storyteller, her eyes wide with wonder and her heart pounding with excitement. Kwame, in the middle of a tale about a magical baobab tree, suddenly faltered as he caught sight of Amara. Their eyes met, and in that moment, something extraordinary happened. It was as if the very air around them crackled with energy, and the world fell away, leaving only the two of them. Without missing a beat, Kwame seamlessly wove Amara into his story. And there, he said, his voice rich with emotion, standing before the magical baobab, was a princess unlike any other. Her body was a testament to the wealth of knowledge she possessed, and her eyes shone with the light of 1,000 stories yet untold. Amara, caught up in the magic of the moment, found herself responding to Kwame's words. Her voice, usually so quiet, rang out clear and strong as she added her own twists to the tale. The crowd watched in awe as the two storytellers danced a verbal duet, their words intertwining and creating a tapestry of wonder that left everyone spellbound. As the night wore on, Amara and Kwame continued to share stories, each one more fantastic than the last. They spoke of ancient African kingdoms, of powerful spirits that roamed the savannah, of love that transcended time and space. And with each tale, something remarkable began to happen. Amara, who had always believed her size was a curse, began to shrink. But it wasn't her body that was changing. It was the perception of those around her. The villagers, who had once mocked her, now leaned in close, eager to catch every word. They no longer saw a princess, too large for love. They saw a woman whose inner beauty and wisdom outshone any physical attribute. King Adisa and Queen Zuri watched in amazement as their daughter blossomed before their eyes. They saw the spark of joy in her face, the confidence in her stance, and they knew that something profound had changed. As dawn broke over the kingdom of Zuberi, Kwame and Amara stood hand in hand before the royal court. "My king," Kwame said, his voice filled with reverence and love, "I have traveled across many lands and heard countless tales, but none compared to the stories that live within your daughter's heart. If she will have me, I would be honored to spend my life learning from her and sharing our stories with the world." Amara, tears of joy streaming down her face, turned to her parents. "Father, mother," she said, her voice strong and clear, "I have found a love that sees beyond the surface, a love that cherishes the very essence of who I am. Could, with your blessing, I would like to marry Kwame and embark on a new adventure, one where our stories can inspire and transform lives across the land." King Adisa, his own eyes moist with emotion, nodded his approval. "My dear daughter," he said, "you have always been the keeper of our kingdom's wisdom. Now, with Kwame by your side, I believe your stories will reach even further, touching hearts and changing lives in ways we can scarcely imagine." And so, in the kingdom of Zuberi, a new chapter began. Amara and Kwame were married in a ceremony that blended traditions from across Africa, celebrating the unity of not just two people, but of cultures and stories from far and wide. As the years passed, Amara and Kwame traveled the continent, sharing their tales and collecting new ones. They spoke of love that knew no boundaries, of courage in the face of adversity, and of the power of embracing one's true self. And wherever they went, they left behind a trail of inspiration and hope. The story of Princess Amara and the Griot Kwame became a beloved tale throughout Africa, passed down through generations as a reminder that true beauty lies within, and that the greatest magic of all is the power of storytelling to transform lives and bring people together. In the end, Amara discovered that her gift for stories was not a curse, but a blessing, one that allowed her to find love, purpose, and acceptance. And in doing so, she rewrote not just her own story, but the story of her kingdom and beyond, proving that, in the world of tales and truths, size truly does unto matter. It's the size of one's heart and the power of one's words that truly count.